Hi, I'm Mary Eve. I'm with the Purdue Harrison County Extension Office, and today we're going to make gifts for Mother's Day. I know it's going to be hard for some of you to get out and about to buy something for mom, but moms always appreciate a handmade gift. And today we're going to work on tissue paper flowers. And I have a couple of varieties here, and we'll start from the beginning where we cut our tissue paper. So our materials are tissue paper, can be any color and can even be white if that is all that you have at home. We do have some markers in flower colors, pipe cleaners. If you don't have pipe cleaners, a floral wire or maybe wire out of Dad's garage might work. Scissors, stapler, and a vase. If you don't have a pretty vase, this one here is just a crystal light container. So just use what you have at home and it will be just fine, and your mom will just love it. So we can start with fresh tissue paper, or if you don't have any fresh tissue paper, you can use used tissue paper, because I know some moms keep tissue paper from gifts. And if you look at this little flower here, this one is made with this used tissue paper. So even the used stuff will turn out to be a beautiful flower. I like using 2 pieces of a similar color, though they are 2 different shades, because it makes it a much more realistic looking flower. And we're going to put one on top of another, smooth them out. We're going to fold this in half. Now, to make a very full flower, we're going to need 8 squares of tissue paper. I'm going to unfold this and then cut it along my fold line. And try to be as close as you can, but if you're a little bit off, it will not matter, because once you put the flower together, no one will know that you're a tad bit off. Move one of those out of the way and fold this in half again. And right now we have 4 layers. And fold it in half again. So if you're counting, we now have 8 layers in this little stack. And we're going to find the center. And cut along this crease. Now you may need some help with this, so ask an older sibling or dad to help out. Now, how am I going to get squares out of this long rectangle and have them be even? Well, a square is actually 2 triangles. So we're going to fold this in half so that you have a triangle. And see how I met the edge over here? So that's how you're going to know it is a square. And we need to cut along this edge. And when we open that up, it is a square. And we now have 8 squares. We still have enough on this tissue paper to make another square. So we're going to fold our triangle over, meet the edge, and cut along the side of the triangle. Now this last part may or may not be an equal square. It's pretty close, so we can probably use that for a flower too. So we have enough to make 3 flowers. Now I'm going to take some larger ones so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to line up our flower, or our squares, or our flower. And we're going to do what's called a fan fold. So it's like you're making a paper fan. So you'll fold in about an inch, flip your paper over, fold in another inch. You want to make your creases sharp, so rub your fingers over them. And we just keep flipping over. And folding back. Flipping over. Folding back. Flipping over. Folding back. We should have just enough to make one more fold. Okay, so we have like an accordion. And the way to start our flower is we need to secure it in the center. To find your center, gently fold it in half. Make a crease. And I'm going to use a stapler. If you don't have a stapler, you can put a piece of tape here. And staplers aren't long enough, so it's going to be on a bit of a diagonal, but that won't matter because we're going to take our pipe cleaner and we're going to go ahead and add our stem. Give it a couple of twists. Okay, now comes the fun part. We can leave the edges alone and we end up with a flower that looks like a carnation. Or we can cut the edges of our flower so that it's scalloped, a little round edge like the end of your finger, and it looks kind of like a peony. This last one, I cut the edges just to make little strips at the very ends, and then when I pulled it apart, it looks like a chrysanthemum. This one's a little more difficult to pull apart. So this one we're going to just round off the edge. I'm going to use my thumb as a guide. And again, you may want an older sibling or dad to help you with that so that you don't cut your fingers. Move our scraps. Now comes the magic. We'll open up one side and see how pretty that is where we cut it. Very carefully take up one piece of tissue paper and pull it towards the center where your pipe cleaner is. We're going to do one piece of tissue paper at a time. You want to do it very carefully so that you don't tear your tissue paper. Doesn't look like much now, but as we keep going, you'll see what happens. And you can see why I like the different colors. Just seems to look more natural. I can get the next piece off of here. There we go. You see I've moved my hand a little from the center to help pull apart the petals here. And we are almost done with half of the flower. Then we just turn it around and we open up the other side. Put one tissue paper at a time, pull it towards the center, being careful not to tear it. And this one's turning out very pretty. Almost done. And just curl the last petal around the bottom. And just gather it up a little bit so nobody sees the edges, the cut edges. And you have a beautiful pink peony. Now for those folks who only have white tissue paper at home and want their flower to be a little special, set that down. This is one done in white. This is a smaller one. And all you have to do is take your marker and start at one of the edges and just run your marker along the edge. So it looks like your carnation has been dipped into color. And it does not have to be neat because a dipped carnation doesn't have even edges. It will have rough edges, so it will look more natural. So it just takes a few minutes. And your flower will end up looking like this. So you can make one, put it in a bud vase, or you can make several and give Mom a whole bouquet. And she will really love these forever flowers. Thank you and have a great day. All right, and now for a short story. This is called the Twist Mouth family. This is a family of 5, father, mother, oldest son John, middle child Mary, and the youngest one is Richard. Each of the family members has their mouth twisted in a certain way. Dad's mouth is twisted down. Mom's mouth is twisted up. Then John's mouth is twisted forward, like most everybody. Mary, she can only twist to the right. Little Richard can only twist to the left. Well, John has been away at college. He's the first one in their family to go. And this is at a time when they used candles to light their home. So you'll have to pretend this is a candle. And so as John comes home, they stay up very late at night to hear what John has learned in college. And it is so late that the candle has worn down a little bit and it's time to go to bed. So Mother says, "Pa, please go and blow out the candle. I've lost our candle snuffer," which is a small metal thing that you usually put over the candle and it snuffs it out. So Pa goes over to the candle, and remember, he can only blow down. So he's going trying to blow the candle out. It just doesn't work. "Ma, I'll let you go ahead and blow out the candle." Well, Ma, she can only blow up, which blows her hair straight up. That does not work. So Ma says, "Mary, would you be so nice as to blow out the candle?" Well, Mary, she can only blow to the right. So the air just flows across her right cheek. And Mary goes, "Richard, why don't you blow out the candle?" Well, Richard, he can only blow left. So he's blowing air into his ear. So John says, "I'll go ahead and blow out the candle." So John goes over to the candle and blows it out. Everyone is so excited that John got this done. And Pa pats him on the back and says, "See, children, this is what you get with a college education." The end.